Hi, I'm Jen and I'm here with Victoria from Dermalogica to talk all about skin ageing. So it happens to us all. We get older and our skin changes as we age. I don't know about you, but I notice it the most when I look at photographs of myself. I do not look as youthful as I did 5 to 10 years ago, sadly. But lots of people will relate to this. There's a lot of pressure on us as women to, as we age, look more youthful. But here at Jersey Beauty, we're not about quick fixes to make us look younger. We're all about helping you to achieve your happiest, healthiest skin and celebrating a happy, remarkable you as you age so that you age well. So let's have a little talk about skin aging first. What happens to our skin as we age?
So as you said, it happens to us all. There is no escaping it. So from a natural aging process point of view, a bit like your whole body, everything will start to slow down, deteriorate, not be as strong and as resilient as it did when we were in our younger years. So from a skin point of view, our skin cells start to lose their natural defences from a natural antioxidant point of view. So we're less able to defend ourselves against particularly environmental factors. Our cells in the skin that produce our collagen, our elastin, our hyaluronic acid, all those substances that keep our skin plump, firm, smooth, they start to slow. So we produce less collagen, around 1% less each year post the age of 30. So decade upon decade we lose a lot of collagen, and that tends to impact women a lot more when they go through the menopause as well, when there's hormonal drops with estrogen and things like that impacting collagen. And then some newer research also shows that we have these zombie cells or senescent cells in our skin. So a normal healthy cell would be born and it would die, but we get these cells that are neither alive or dead, hence the zombie cell kind of name that we've called them. And unfortunately, these secrete a lot of inflammatory toxins. So that's creating a lot of issues and damage within the skin that lead to your signs of aging. So all these kinds of things will happen naturally. Our cell renewal and cell turnover slows down. So our skin isn't regenerating itself as quickly. But then all of this can be accelerated by your exposome factors, which is everything other than your genetics that influences how you age. So your lifestyle, diet, nutrition, environment, exposure to UV and pollution, how well you sleep, all of those kinds of things, whether you've had any illnesses or diseases over your lifetime. So all of these factors can then accelerate the natural aging process even more so. So I think at Dermalogica we have the same philosophy, that it's about having skin that is good and healthy for its age, rather than trying to look 20 years younger.
So we all have that friend that never seems to age. Why is it that some people just seem to age better than others? They still look quite youthful even though they're getting older.
I think the latest research that we understand, because a lot of people think, it's just good genes. But what we understand is that your exposure, we called it your exposome just now, your lifestyle, environmental factors, basically everything other than your genetics and your DNA, accounts for about 50% of aging. So to be fair, if you, one, have good genes, but then you are somebody who has low stress levels through your life, you have good nutrition, you don't get particularly stressed, or you sleep well, you don't sunbathe, you don't live in a polluted area. There are so many things that can influence how somebody ages. And as I said, the latest research would suggest about 50% of aging is down to those exposome factors. So even if you feel like you've inherited good genes, your parents have aged really well, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will. And there's some interesting studies they do on identical twins. So they obviously have identical genes, but then you can see how much older from a skin point of view one twin may look, maybe 10, 12 years older, due to the fast-paced lifestyle, smoking, drinking, stress, city living, versus somebody who's had the complete opposite type of lifestyle. So it's interesting to see how your exposome factors can also influence your genes and your DNA.
What can we do to achieve our happiest, healthiest skin as we age?
I think from an age management point of view, a 360 approach is needed. Skincare product can only do so much. That's the reality. So I think, a Dermalogica therapist would look at a client holistically, look at your overall exposome factors. So what is your diet, your lifestyle, your environment, and what can you do over and above your skincare regimen? Of course, good skincare is important, that can minimise some of those other factors that might be aging you. So stress management, looking at your sleeping patterns, whether that's introducing yoga and meditation or a sleep app, or something like that helps to take the pressure off it from that point of view, looking at your diet and your nutrition and how you're fueling your body and skin from the inside. So all of that will encompass a good age management program.
So Dermalogica have brought out Phyto-nature firming serum. Where does this fit into us helping our skin to age well? Where does this serum fit in?
So Phyto-nature firming serum is really inspired by a lot of the latest understanding of how and why our skin ages, and it's designed to reawaken the nature of younger looking skin. So how did the skin behave at a cellular level when it is young and working at optimum, and using biomimetic peptides, but also using the best of kind of nature and botanical pharmacopoeia to really future-proof the skin. So helping the skin to work more effectively from a skin cell level point of view, but also defending the skin from those exposome factors that can prematurely age you.
Okay, so if someone uses this serum, what can they expect to see?
Well, excitingly, we've got some great clinical data. So we know this product works, and instantly in one application, it doubles skin luminosity and minimises the appearance of fine lines. So you'll get that instantly in one application. And then after 4 weeks, our studies show a wrinkle reduction. So obviously these ingredients need a little bit of time to get the skin reawakened and behaving a little bit more youthfully. And in as little as 4 weeks, you can see a reduction in lines and wrinkles.
And we just slap this into our normal skincare routine after we've cleansed, toned, before we moisturise?
Absolutely, and you could use it in the morning or the evening, or both if you wanted to use it twice a day. Some people like to keep using their Biolumin C serum, for example, and want to use that in the daytime and use this one in the evening. If you're a retinol user, you might prefer to obviously keep using your retinol at night and then use your Phyto-nature firming serum in the morning, so you're getting the benefit of both.
Okay, sounds fabulous. So if you would like to reawaken your youth or attack those zombie cells in your skin, then pop along to Jersey Beauty and you could get some Phyto-nature firming serum today, or you could get a sample so you can have a little try of it before you buy.